hello.
Hi.
Welcome back. I'm Denisha.
I'm Ashley.
And this is the Afterlife Hotline. Duh.
Yes. Duh.
Today we're going to talk about signs from the dead and whether they are coincidence or communications.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What is your thought before we talk about any of this? Do you think it's signs or communication?
I think it's...
Or coincidence or communication?
I think it's communication for sure, especially after finding the article that I'll read on later.
Mm-hmm.
But having had some of my own experiences, I don't think it's a coincidence, especially given the one in particular that I'll talk about a little bit later. I definitely think it's communication.
Yeah. Yep.
You?
Same. There are some things where I try to make my brain believe that it's just a coincidence, but I'm just like,
yeah.
But is it though?
I feel like that's fair. Because like our brains are going to try to rationalize things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So,
do you want me to start?
Yeah. I didn't know if we wanted to like say like what they are, like what are like what the signs and stuff would be, or like the communication or like certain communications that people would.
So signs from the dead is actually often called after death communication, ADC for short.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. And there was actually a large study done by Bill and Judy. I'm going to butcher this last name. Gunningham?
That sounds right.
Pioneers in the researching life after death communication. They interviewed over 2,000 people across the United States and Canada, all ages, all backgrounds, no psychics or mediums, just regular people. And what they found that millions of these people, possibly over 50 million Americans, have had at least one experience where they felt like they were contacted by somebody who had passed away. And the biggest takeaway was that
you were just talking really fast.
These people that are being contacted, they aren't scared.
Yeah.
They're finding comfort in it.
Okay.
Most ADCs aren't dramatic ghost stories. They're subtle, familiar, and gentle. Most common, people report feeling some kind of presence, that someone you love is nearby, even though you can't see or hear them.
Mm-hmm.
Others talk about hearing a voice, usually in their mind, that feels different from their own thoughts. Some feel a touch, a hand on the shoulder, a hug, a wave of calm. And a lot of people often experience scents, perfumes, aftershave, cigarette smoke. But then there are also visual moments, like seeing someone clearly, sometimes just partially, and sometimes it's more like an image in your mind.
I am jealous of those who have seen them. That doesn't happen for me, and I don't like it.
I'm sure it will eventually. These experiences often happen when we are in that in-between state. So falling asleep, waking up, maybe praying, or just being really, really still and maybe meditating.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest categories is symbolic signs. Coins showing up in strange places, feathers, birds that keep appearing, repeating numbers, songs that come on exactly at the right moment, photos falling, electronics acting weird. But not everyone gets signs. And that's okay. It doesn't mean that your loved one has forgotten you. It doesn't mean that your loved one is gone or that your love is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes love doesn't need a sign to exist.
Yeah.
But if you do want to feel connected to these people, you can often write letters, celebrate their birthdays, or wear something that reminds you of them.
I felt so bad. I missed Gigi's birthday this month.
When was it?
The 4th of January.
Oh.
Yeah, I realized the day after. I was like, I'm so sorry, Gigi. I forgot.
Well, I mean, also you had family down though, didn't you? Were they still down?
I think Steven's parents were here. Yeah. Or it was like the day after.
I thought it was Becky and Louise. Because I thought they were here.
They came down. Oh, it was them. Wait, this was this past Sunday. Where am I at?
You did Haley's hair Sunday.
Did I? I did.
Yeah, because then after we filmed Court.
Yeah.
So you were busy.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah. Oh yeah, Becky and Louise were here last weekend. What is time?
Where? Yeah, I was going to be like, damn, like.
What the heck is going on?
So yeah, I found that really interesting that possibly over 50 million Americans have had at least one experience in their lifetime.
Well, and there's not to say that people have had experiences but didn't realize that they were getting signs too. So those people probably just thought it was a coincidence. So Yeah. Touching on the signs, though, so just a few of the ones that I've had that for the signs and stuff is the cardinals. First of all, my parents, especially after Gigi died, they have so many cardinals that show up out on their back patio or on their back porch. There's ones that I will constantly see as I'm driving up the road to go to mom and dad's. And then whenever we went camping, not this past time, but the time before that, there was a male and female cardinal that was out there in the trees that just hung around the whole entire time that we were out there. And me, being me, I believe that it's my papa and my Gigi. And then there was whenever Holly first passed away, the day of or the day after, but I want to say it was the day of. Steve and I were in the other room, and the cats weren't around this area that I heard the noise, but her collar jingled, and I was like, "What the heck?" And I looked at Steven, and Steven looked at me. I was like, "Did you hear that?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "That was Holly's collar." And he goes, "What?" And I go out there. The cats weren't near it. I was like, I don't know. It could have just settled or whatever, but I honestly feel like it was Holly. And the one that Gigi's pennies.
I was going to say coins for sure.
Coins for sure, which I haven't found any recently, which, you know, it might just have been because like it's been a little bit of time now. And she's like, okay, you probably don't need it as much. But whenever my Gigi was still alive, she would always say that my pawpaw was leaving her pennies. And whenever I was with her, and I would always pick them up for her and give them to her. And she's like, oh yeah, they're pennies from heaven. Pawpaw's leaving them for me, you know, all this other kinds of stuff. And then no sooner after my great grandma passed away, I started finding pennies everywhere. I'm out going to the store. I look down and there's a penny. Like it's just, I just happened to look somewhere and there's a freaking penny. And I had a nice little collection going for a while, and I wanted to get something that I can put them in, like pennies from heaven or something. But I haven't found any recently, and I'm kind of sad, but it's okay. But yeah, there was that. And then the last one that I'll talk about is I had a dream years and years and years ago whenever my great-grandma was still alive. And I think I don't know if I was still in high school or not. I'm not sure. It was definitely whenever I was living with my parents. And all I remember is in the dream, I was in my great-grandmother's house, and I was in one of the rooms, and it had a chair in there, which in real life, the chair wasn't in there. But I remember like our pastor at the time was in the house, my family was there, but I was the only one in this room. And there was a pillow just floating above the chair as if something was there, but I couldn't see it. And I was like, okay, that's weird. So I go over and I'm trying to push this pillow down, and it won't go down. Like it's resisting, like something's in the chair. And so I try again, and then all of a sudden I hear a grown man's voice in my ear or in my head or whatever say, oh, can you please stop that? And then let your Gigi know that I love her and I miss her. And then the pillow dropped. Like whatever was there just disappeared. And so I woke up and I told my mom about it. My mom got really emotional, and then she called my Gigi, and my Gigi got really emotional. And come to find out, it was actually the day before my papa's passing, the anniversary of his passing. And so we really believe that he visited me in my dream, which I was like, why didn't I see him? But it makes sense because I never met him in person. So I don't think my brain would have really known how to
perceive him and visualize
him. Yeah. Other than like from photos. And I don't know. I thought that was really cool, and I really believe that that was him. So, but has there been any signs or anything for you?
Not here lately. I will say one of my most prominent, I don't even know if I told my dad this. So Dad, if you're listening, this is going to be potentially a new one for you. But whenever we lived in North Carolina still, and there would be a lot of times that my mom would go and work with my dad at the oil shop and stuff like that. And I would come home or be, home alone for a few hours, nothing serious. But I was going to make some ramen on the stovetop, and so my room was like in this little hallway. And then you'd go through the hallway. There was a living room, and then there was the kitchen, like right across from the living room. And so you kind of had to walk a little bit away. And I was notorious for like going into the kitchen, doing whatever I needed to do, and then go back into the bedroom. So I had left the stove on with my ramen.
Oh, no.
And I had gone back into my bedroom, and I don't know, I was probably playing PlayStation or some shit. Who knows what I was doing? But I remember smelling the Bath and Body Works Sweet Pea perfume. Now, I had a grandfather. He was, I guess he would be a grandfather, a step grandfather, because he was,
Or grandfather by marriage.
yeah, grandfather by marriage. He was the only grandfather I really knew apart from my papa that was, who adopted my dad and stuff like that. But we all called him Sweet Pea. And so for the longest time after his passing, I could not stand anything that was fragrance to Sweet Pea. It made me emotional. It made me upset. So nothing in the house was in Sweet Pea. And then I could smell that fragrance. And of course, there's nothing in there with that. So I'm like, what the fuck? I don't like it. I still don't like the fragrance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go sniffing around and come to find out the water was boiling over, and I'm pretty sure could have caused any kind of fire or something had I not come out and like paid attention to it.
He's like, come on, girl, get
and
it together.
then once that was taken, I never smelled it again.
Yeah.
Never smelled Sweet Pea again. I still don't even smell Sweet Pea anymore. So that was pretty much my one and only like true communication experience I think I've had. At least from signs from the other side. But then again, for me, like, I don't expect as many because a lot of the people who have passed in my life, like, I haven't really known.
Yeah.
And so,
Which is fair.
It's just one of those things.
Yeah. Which, to be honest, any of the signs that I've had, I feel like would have been from my Gigi. And then I really haven't gotten any other signs other than like the one from Holly or whatever. But nothing else. I mean, I know you and I get signs from the universe all the time.
Whenever we were seeing rainbows, like days
oh
straight.
my gosh, there was at least a week, and not gonna lie, this was during a very, very, very hard week for Denisha and I at our past job, and like to the point we were both having
breakdowns,
mentally broken and just emotionally broken. But every single day, because we would carpool, we would, on our way home, we would see a rainbow almost for a whole week straight. And we just took it as a sign. We kept looking it up and figuring out what this could mean. Like, this can't be a coincidence. We're seeing one every single day. And
it wasn't even a rainy period.
No, it just happened to be like misty, or like the weather was just right and it created a rainbow. And we're like, what the fuck is going on?
Also repeating numbers for a good while. We were seeing angel. You see a lot of angel numbers.
I see a lot of angel numbers, and that really started after Gigi passed. I don't know if it's just I never really paid attention to it or whatever, but it really started with me seeing it on my phone a lot. Like, I would just click on my screen and my phone would be on an angel number, and I would notice it at work or whatever. And then it started going to like noticing it on license plates. Like, we see it on license plates all the time. Her and I could be in the car, and it was at least a week occurrence, but we're not really in the car with each other much anymore since we stopped working at our old job. But it was almost like once or twice a week. One of us would be like, hey,
there's that number. Hey, even for a while,
looking it up what it means.
We saw there was a job that we were both hoping to get, and for a good while we were even seeing the acronym for the job on a license plate.
Yeah, it was.
I don't see those anymore.
I don't either. It was really weird. And then one really weird one, I was with my mom one day, and we went through McDonald's, and we were getting just drinks, and our total came out to $4.44. And so we're like, oh, okay. I told my mom, I was like, that's my angel number. I was like, I love 444. And so we get up to the window, and the lady asked us if we wanted a receipt. And I told Mom, I said, yes, that's my angel number. I said, yes, I need that receipt. Don't know where that receipt's at anymore.
Of course.
But Mom was just like, yeah, she wants the receipt because it has her angel number on it. And the lady was like, no way. And she pulls up her sleeve, and it's her angel number, and she has 444 tattooed on her arm. And I was like, what the hell's going on right now? Which it's honestly crazy that 444 I say is my number, my angel number, because like with Steven and his family and his dad being Chinese, 4 is actually a very unlucky number. But 4 has always been a very lucky number for me, because like in soccer I was 4.
Yeah.
And, you know, all the Gigi's birthdays on the 4th and, you know, all this other kinds of stuff. But I've been seeing 222 a lot recently. And then I was going through my bracelets the other day and I forgot one of the bracelets I got was 222.
Oh, man. I forgot about those.
Yep. So, but I think what my brain was processing whenever I got these two was 888 and 222. And my brain makes 444. Like 8 divided by 2. I don't know.
Okay, that's a stretch, Miss Mathematician.
But but the 222, I have been seeing 222 a lot, and so
I will say one other thing, and I don't know necessarily if it's a sign or a coincidence.
You're talking about Ben and Jerry?
Oh no, I wasn't going to talk about that.
We
We
should.
should. No, I was talking about my St. Christopher in the car that I have.
Yeah.
That comes from my mom's dad. So my grandfather from my mom's side. It's one of the things that got passed to me when he passed on, as well as I have a train model up there that he built, and then some artwork that's hung up downstairs. But so the St. Christopher is the patron saint of travels. And so me being me, because it's like one of those SOS ones, like inside it's got like medical information for him. I should honestly probably take it out since it's in my car and I don't want people to think it's for me. But I've hung it up in my car. If it wasn't in my car,
Well, to be honest, they probably wouldn't even know to open it up
probably not.
because it just looks like a coin or a pendant.
Yeah, but for the longest time, like, because I didn't drive for a long time, and if I didn't have to, I wouldn't. And so if we were going on a trip or something, I would put it in my luggage.
Just somewhere with us in the vehicle.
Somewhere with us in the vehicle. And now it's permanently on my mirror. And so anytime we're on the road, and there have been some definite close calls, some definite fucking close calls, but I genuinely feel like that St. Christopher, whether it's because it's the patron saint of travels or it comes from my grandfather, who I've never been able to meet. He's sadly, of course, passed away. And the only memory I have of him is whenever I was a little girl and we lived in Louisiana, because I remember there was we had the wood panel like walls.
Oh, the old wood panel walls.
And I remember we had one of them big box computers, and it had a little speaker up at the very top of it. And I guess she was talking to him on Skype or whatever it was at the time. And I was feeding him, quote unquote, M&Ms. And so I would put them up to the speaker and he would pretend to eat them. And that is my one and only memory. That is the only time I've actually ever communicated with this man.
But he knew who you were.
Yeah, he knew. Oh yeah, he knew who I was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I genuinely feel like that St. Christopher has done its protection for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. And I don't think it's just because it's a St. Christopher. I think it's also because it was from your great-grandpa. Your great-grandpa? Grandpa.
Yeah.
Grandpa. Yep.
Especially driving from Maine back to Arkansas with a fucking nail in our tire.
Holy shit, that tire could have blown.
Like,
between that and then me full on believing that both of our grandmas were in the back seat just chilling like villains, just keeping us safe. Like my great grandma, your grandma just sitting back there like, these dumb bitches. It's just like hopefully you guys keep us safe, because like, oh my lord. And they did. Okay, ignore me.
I do that all the time. What you mean?
I know. She always ignores me. That's fine. I'm used to it.
Oh, hush. I'm the quickest person to respond to you.
You are. You literally are. Everybody else is fired. If there's ever an emergency, I know who I'm contacting. Not my dad. Not Steven. Maybe my mom.
It depends on if she's asleep. I was going to say, it depends on if she's napping or not.
It'd be Denisha. For sure. There was also another one, which I don't technically think it's not going to be from
the past.
Like a
there's a wall there.
Yeah, a past loved one or anything, but it was, my dad has always told us, follow the signs.
It's a sign from the universe.
The signs. Well, when Denise and I were getting irritated at people, I don't know how we came up with it. I think you came up with it. And you're like, they're going to get a Ben and Jerry. And I really don't know how that came to be, but it became a thing that her and I would say, and then we came up with it, I think, during that trip.
Yeah, we were saying it. It was never a thing until that trip.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, these people, they're about to get a Ben and Jerry, and we're like, yeah, do you want one scoop or two? Like, they're about to get beat up or whatever. Like, we would really do anything.
One fist or two, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I shit you not, there was one day that we were saying that, and then the car in front of us had a fucking Ben and Jerry bumper sticker. And I was like, Denisha? And she looked, she goes, and we're like, what the fuck does that mean?
No, we had never seen a Ben and Jerry bumper sticker. I still haven't.
I have never in my life seen a Ben and Jerry bumper sticker ever. But we saw it and we're like, what the fuck? Like the one time that we come up with this random ass saying, and all of a sudden we see a Ben and Jerry bumper sticker. And then her and I, we were just like, we really want some Ben and Jerry's while we were there. And so we're like, okay, let's see where we could get some ice cream. Well, lo and behold, a few miles down the road, there was a little store that would sell like souvenirs and stuff like that.
It was in Ogunquit.
Yeah. And they had a little Ben and Jerry store. They sold Ben and Jerry ice cream. So we go. We're like, what the fuck? Okay, we'll follow the signs. So we go, and we go get ourselves some ice cream. And this poor little old lady was working by herself. And Denisha went through multiple times with this lady, making sure that she was being charged for the ice cream. And we went outside, and Denisha's like, I never got an alert on my phone because it alerts her whenever she uses a certain card. And she's like, I don't think this went through. So we went inside. We told the lady. Lady's like, no, hon, you paid for it, whatever. And we leave. That charge never came up on her card.
It never did.
We got free ice cream.
I think she hit cash instead of card. But
it's like we did the right thing. We went back in the first time to let her know.
Well, she even printed off a receipt.
Yeah. We even went inside and we let her know. We're like, hey, she didn't get an alert on her phone, and we don't really think that the payment went through. We just want to make sure that you're getting paid for the ice cream. And she's like, oh, no, it went through. Gave us another receipt. It never went through. We got free Ben and Jerry's. All of that to get free ice cream. I'm not complaining.
Oh,
but I'm just like,
it was the universe's way of, y'all need some ice cream and shut the fuck up.
I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, that was...
Following the signs, man. Following the signs.
Follow the signs.
Yep. And I definitely fully believe in following the signs, whether it's the universe, past loved ones, whoever. I 100% believe in following the signs.
Agree.
Yeah. Well, let me see. I haven't even looked at my phone.
What does I do? I just have one Reddit thing. And it's more so somebody's comment because somebody had asked if anybody had some after death communications. Mm-hmm. And so this one said, if you want me to go ahead and read it.
Oh, yeah, you can go ahead. I have another thing after you're done.
Do you want to do it first, or do you want...
Oh, I mean, I guess. So
you just seemed excited.
I forgot about it until I looked at it. It's not, I don't know if it's a sign from anybody or like a past loved one or whatever, but it was definitely a sign. Stephen and I, whenever he came to visit, and him and I met for the first time 3 years ago, we were hanging out with, we were staying with my brother and his wife, and Stephen and I, we wanted to go out, by ourselves and go out on a date, whatever. And so we ended up going to, I know. And so we ended up going to a ramen bar, and as we're out at the ramen bar, I start hearing this song playing over their system. And I'm sitting there and I'm getting all teary-eyed. I was like, there's no fucking way. There's no way that this song is playing right now. Because we're in like a little Asian ramen bar. And Steven's just like, are you good? And I'm like, yeah. I'm great. There was no words. It was just the instrumental. But it was literally mine and my dad's song. And it's When You Say Nothing at All by Alison Krauss. And I'm like, this is so weird. And so I texted my dad. I was like, I don't know what the hell this means, but Steve and I are on our first date and we're out at the ramen bar, and all of a sudden Mine and Your Song comes on. I said, there's no words, but I know it's our song. And I just got so emotional. I'm just like, this has to be a sign of something. And lo and behold, we're together 3 years later.
Look at y'all now.
I know. I'm just like, we're still together and going strong. So I was just like, that was.
You need to put a ring on it. I know you listen. This one's not scary, so you ain't got no excuse.
Yeah. So, that was strange. That was crazy. But anyway,
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. I thought I texted you, but I guess I didn't. I guess I just talked to my dad about it. But yep, it was mine and my dad's song that played in there, and I was just like, all right, I got it. Something's there.
To be fair, you might not have texted me because we were all supposed to go crystal digging that weekend.
Maybe.
I don't really remember. I've slept many a time since then.
Well, if I did something where if I not screwed somebody over, but if I
Well, it wasn't
made plans and then backed out on plan. Oh,
because we all made the plans, but then you didn't know it was going to be the weekend that he was going to come visit.
I also got food poisoning that weekend too.
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure it's because Dad and I went to the place in Cabot, and my miso soup tasted like dishwater, and then the udon noodles tasted kind of weird, and I ended up getting food poisoning. So, and that was the same weekend that I went and hung out with Steve.
Because that was like a week or two after we got back from Maine that year.
Yeah, because I remember asking Steven, I was like, well, do you want to go crystal digging or whatever? And he's like, I don't know. And
I can't see him crystal digging.
Probably not.
He'll probably just sit out there and be like, why don't you dig over there?
That, or he would just walk around with his hands behind his back and just do his little moseying around and then find a crystal and come over and just hand it to us and then walk off and just keep doing that. Yeah. That would be him. He wouldn't sit there, me and Niche, like knees deep in the freaking dirt digging up crystals. He'd just be like,
oh, there's one.
That
Ooh,
looks
piece of
nice.
candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
Here's this for your collection. He would do that too. He'd go find him in the road.
You get this one and you get this one. Oh, this one's nice. I'll pocket this one. Yep. You get this one.
Yep. But we have some Reddit stories.
As always. I feel like that's the number one like closer for us is Reddit stories. Yeah. The only one I have was a comment on somebody's thread.
That's what mine were too.
But this person said, for a few months before my mom died, I felt like I could hear my deceased grandpa in my head. I'd had a pretty stressful life for the past 6 months or so I kind of chalked it up to being crazy or maybe a nervous breakdown. One day, it felt like he was really there with me, and I kept asking for random signs, like orange truck. Wouldn't you know it? An orange truck pulled up right beside me. So I said, show me your name then, so I'm not insane. And no word, 2 trucks drove by within minutes and had Don's scaffolding in big letters across the side of the trucks. That was the biggest sign I had ever gotten. His name was Don. I assumed he was with me to prepare me for my husband's death.
What? Husband? It went from mom to husband?
I see where this is going. I see where this is going now, yeah. I assumed he was with me to prepare me for my husband's death, as my husband was diagnosed with cancer in October. Oh. However, in a weird twist of fate, my mom was diagnosed with lung cancer and died within 6 weeks, and my husband is still here. So I guess my grandpa was in town to bring his daughter home. Yeah. For a second I was like, Then yeah.
She took on his illness.
I was thinking about all of this on the way home from the hospital after my mom took her last breath, particularly about the orange truck and then Dawn's scaffolding, and thought to myself, Mom would send me something pink. Moments later, a pink Mustang drove by me. My mom worked her Ford, and the Mustang was her favorite. I wish she would send me something as glaring as Dawn's scaffolding, but no. I did ask her for a pink elephant because that seemed obscure and hard to find, and it took days, but I did see one. When I finally found the pink elephant in a library book my young daughter brought home from school, Alexa was playing the music, and the song was Fight Song. If you don't know those, it's the This Is My Fight Song, Prove I'm Our White song. It's not hard to feel like you're looking for things so you notice them, but believing that she is okay and will come to me when it's my turn is the only thing that really brings me peace. You gotta zoom in on your face.
It was trading one life for another. Yep. As soon as you said that, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, she was keeping the husband around for her daughter.
Wow.
Well, that's all, folks. Just kidding.
Damn. Okay. I have 2.
Beautiful.
Thanks. It doesn't really matter which one I do first.
Oh, my wrist.
Okay. So.
Now I'm going to have that song stuck in my head. Sorry.
You're fine. Okay. So this one's going to be long because I haven't really talked about it much. My dad passed away in January. It was pretty unexpected, even though he's been in and out of the hospital and has been in for 3.5 months at the time. There was nothing serious wrong, though. Several days before, he was randomly violently sick, super high blood pressure, throwing up, delirious. They had no idea what was wrong. Recovered, but we thought he was still hallucinating. He gave my mom shit for leaving him alone with 14 people in his room and was telling her that, people would come in and out of his room all night and that they were from different floors. When I spoke to him about it, he was very adamant and lucid. Didn't seem like he was hallucinating, but there was no other explanation. Then he was asking my brother whose house he was in. Later, we figured out he was probably seeing either spirits or other people hanging around or about to leave this plane. He was in a nursing home / rehab. Or else angels / spirits coming to help him go. That comforted me a fair bit. The night he died, I was on the couch and randomly smelled juicy fruit gum, which he had taken to chewing massive wads of. I had some in my pocket, but no matter how much I shifted position or blew the fan on me, I couldn't make it waft under my nose like that again. I had taken his poker set when I moved out. My dad had actually never even used it, but decided to make it a running joke to occasionally tell me, "Hey, bring me back my poker set. It's been up in a cabinet above the counter for ages, pushed solidly back away from the edge. I opened the cabinet one day and it slid out and landed perfectly and almost plaintively, plainly, in front of me. I had gotten my mom to paint with me one night to take her mind off of the empty house, and we did hummingbirds. I hung mine up. A few weeks later, I was reading online about a woman's being sent hummingbirds as a sign by her deceased friend. I looked at the painting, thought something like, I have a hummingbird up too. What if that could be a sign? Not 10 seconds later, the painting rotated around and fell off of its nail. My significant other saw, and he is not really a believer, but that got him. Getting signs after signs.
Yeah. Now we have to come up with a bird.
I feel like you would be like a raven. Or like...
You make me think of a bluebird, to be honest.
A bluebird? I feel like I could be like a little chickadee. Just sit there and annoy the shit out of you.
Sandpiper. That's sandpiper.
Me?
You die, you show me a sandpiper.
I'd say seagull, but there's like a lot of fucking seagulls. So,
well, yeah, but we don't live by the beach.
That's true. Okay, we'll both have to be sandpipers for each other. Okay, this last one's shorter. Said my grandmother loves to throw pennies at us. They are literally falling out of nowhere. I even had one chucked at the back of my neck once while playing on the computer. She said before she died that that's one of the ways that she would use to communicate. I'm so glad Gigi doesn't fucking chuck pennies at me. Pay attention to me. Also, there was a time where I was laying in bed crying, trying to get some sleep before work, but I was too distraught. I grabbed her picture and asked if she could just hug me. I needed a hug. I also needed to go to sleep, but was wide awake, worrying and crying hysterically. All of a sudden, after maybe a minute or so, I started to feel this really warm static electricity, feeling slowly move its way up my body, starting at my feet and ending with my whole body feeling warm, and like a mild current of electricity was pulsing through me, and I immediately fell asleep. It was insane, but so comforting. She was my best friend.
Aw.
That's so sweet. Oh, that reminds me. So, when my Uncle Tommy was in the process of passing away, and they knew that he was going to pass away like any time, there was one night where I was thinking about him, and I swear, you know how when someone walks in the room, the energy just shifts?
Yeah.
And you can just sense it? I felt that. And in my brain, I was like, Uncle Tommy. I was like, that has to be my Uncle Tommy. I even noted the time in my phone. And the next morning, my dad texted me, and he was like, hey, I'm just letting you know that Uncle Tommy passed. And I was like, I kind of already knew. I was like, because this is what happened. I didn't get the time right, but I was within like a few hours of his passing. But I told Dad that, and Dad had told, I think one of his sisters had told him that she had a similar feeling and that she knew. And then I think my dad also knew. It was really weird. Like everybody just kind of knew when it happened. But yeah, that was one of the only times that I ever felt like the energy in the room shift and like something was there. Because I've never felt that before. Like, I occasionally think that I can feel like if Holly's like there or like one of the animals, but I don't know if that's just like my mind thinking that they're there. But yeah, that the energy just shifting was really weird.
I did have a dream about an acquaintance who had passed on.
Really?
Probably it was Minnie. And so she was tragically taken.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably like 6 months or so after, and I had a dream about her, and we were just chit-chatting, and she was like, oh yeah, like I'm okay now. Like, we were just talking, like we were just catching up, because we weren't like super close friends or anything like that, but we had house sat for whenever they went on their honeymoon and whenever they got married and stuff. And so, yeah, I remember having, I think it was the 3 bedroom. I think that's the time frame it was whenever we were in the 3 bedroom apartment. But I just distinctly remember us chit chatting in my dream, and her just being like, oh yeah, I'm okay now. Everything's okay. And I'm just like, ugh.
Well, because I know you were thinking about her for a good bit. Even though y'all weren't close, I mean, that's still something really tragic to happen to somebody that
we worked together. I had
we're
done a
around.
surprise birthday party for her at work one day. I photographed her wedding. I pet sat for her while they,
So, like, even though you guys weren't close, I mean, she still was
yeah,
a little...
we were still involved, and so that, oh, I still look at her Facebook.
Yeah.
Very, very sad.
That's really sad. There was something else I was going to say and I forgot. And so, yeah.
What do you think? Have you had any after-death communications? Do you think it's just coincidences? Let us know.
Yeah. If you have any stories of your own, let us know. You can send it to the Afterlife Hotline at gmail.com if you would like to, or DM us on any of our socials. Whatever suits your fancy.
We're on all platforms. TikTok, Instagram, blah, 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 blah. We're on all of them.
You should definitely follow us. You should definitely subscribe. And if you want to tell people that you know, family members, friends, whoever, about us, that'd be cool too.
That'd be really cool.
That'd be really, really cool.
Hopefully soon we'll start our tarot readings again.
Yeah, we need to. I need to start tarot readings in general again.
I do too.
So,
but
on that note, keep one foot in the living world.
And one ear on the line.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.